Last week I received an email where someone had done sequencing and they liked the feel of what they sequenced, but when they went into the score editor, they didn't like what they saw. And they felt that it was a bit chaotic, was the term that they used. And they're asking for any tips or tricks to make their sequenced recorded tracks from a live performance translate better musically into the score editor. And this is kind of an age-old dilemma where often when something feels natural, is not perfectly on the beat, it doesn't translate into the score editor. And if it looks beautiful in the score editor, it often has a very sterile, stiff, mechanical feel. So how can we kind of solve this problem? So let's look at a Rhodes piano part here. And we'll take it to our full screen edit view. And if we listen to it, we'll just turn on the click track and play here just a little bit. And when we do this, it doesn't feel bad musically, but technically the resolution in Cubase could go up to 1/192,000th of a second. And if we look at this and zoom in, we can say, okay, they're a little late there. The fingers aren't hitting at the same point. They could be a little late on this note. They could be early on other notes. But again, it doesn't feel musically bad, but visually looking at it, we can see that it's not perfect, but we like the feel and we want to retain that feel. So let's look at this in our score editor. So I'll just go to my scores and say open score editor. And this is the chaos that the person saw when they described their score as being chaotic looking. So this is how Cubase is interpreting that, but it's really easy to set it up to make it more musical. We see this dark bar here just to the left of the first staff. And if we double click on that, we could open up the score settings. At this point, I could choose a key. So I could go down for flats, up for sharps. If I click on my polyphonic, I could choose to make it a split staff and choose a split point. I'm going to just leave it at C3. And then what I want to do is to have display quantize. So it's not going to quantize and alter the notes rhythmically, just how it's going to be interpreted in Cubase. So I could say the smallest note that I intended to play was an eighth note. The smallest rest that I intended was a quarter note rest. And I'll just deactivate the auto quantize, and we could have different syncopations, as well as I usually like to check these different interpretive flags. So just a couple of settings which you could save as a preset if you wanted to. At this point, I could hit apply, and now we could have a much more musical looking score. So when we look at our original part, again, it's only quantized the display of the notation, and all of the events still retain their musical feel. So you have feel good and look good. So you can see how the interpretive flags that you can use for display quantize can really help make your score come to life and make it more musical and easier to read than with other tools. If you found this video helpful, please feel free to like the video and to subscribe to the channel.